Brethren, thank you for coming tonight, and thank you, Franklin, for being here. Appreciate it. We met down in Grand Lodge, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and we were face-to-face, toe-to-toe, going over quantum physics and theology. And I said to myself, if I ever get a chance to bring this man to my lodge, I want to, and I'm very glad that you're here tonight.
That was a good debate. I enjoyed it.
Please give him your full attention.
Thank you for coming this evening, brother. Thank you. So this young priest is transferred to a convent, and he's freaked out because he's an avid golfer, and he says, I'm going to this convent. There's not going to be anyone there to play golf with. So as soon as he gets to the convent, he puts out the word that he's looking for someone to play golf with, and finally one of the sisters comes forward and says, Father, I play golf on the college team. I'd be honored to play with you. He says, Sister, what a blessing. So they go out to one of the many courses that invite them. And first hole, the priest instantly shanks the ball into the woods. He starts cursing a blue streak. God damn this, Jesus that, mother this. With that, the sister turns white. She starts staggering around, almost passes out. She says, Father, I've never heard a priest use such vulgar language. I cannot stand for this. I'm leaving. I don't want to be here. He says, Sister, please forgive me. I lose myself. I'm just so into this game. I promise it won't happen again. She says, all right, Father. They play on. 6th hole. He instantly slices it into a sand trap. Starts cursing a blue streak. God damn this, Jesus that, mother this. With that, the sister turns white again. Starts staggering, almost passes out. She says, Father, not only are you using that same vulgar language, but now you broke a promise to me. I'm leaving, I'm transferring out of the convent, I don't ever want to see you again. He says, Sister, please, I said I was weak. I swear it won't happen again. May I be struck down. He says, all right, Father, but no more. They play on. 15th hole. He shanks it again, right into a water passage. Starts cursing a blue streak. God damn this, Jesus that, mother this. With that, a black cloud appears overhead. A lightning bolt streaks out of the cloud. Just misses the priest, kills the nun. From above the cloud you hear, God damn this, Jesus that, mother this. Now always start the crowd laughing, it's great. But there is a purpose to this. Geometry is not some esoteric fly-away thing that we have to always strive to understand. Geometry is always with us. Let's think about the geometry in this joke. The priest shanking the ball. It's because of his geometric form in swinging the club. The nun getting dizzy and almost passing out. It's because she allowed her thoughts to overcome the geometric solidity and strength of her body and let her go into this spasm. The lightning bolt, energy, going from one pole to another. Looking at life as geometry brings you to a basis where everything comes from a truth. Everything comes from a sound context. And we get to understand that all of the rest is our creation, is the superstructure we create upon it. I have a way of introducing people to Masonry. I somehow managed to sidestep into discussing about Masonry very easily. Talk about morality, talk about brotherhood, whatever, I get into it. And I say, would you mind me telling you how I look at Masonry? They say, how long does it take? That's always the next one. I say about 2 minutes. What I say is, Masonry is based on geometry. Not the geometry you learn in high school mathematics, but more the geometry of Aristotle and Plato, in which everything that is real, everything that is true, can be measured geometrically. This table, it has a width, a depth, a breadth, a mass we perceive as weight, a vibratory level we perceive as color. And as long as we're using the same scales, as long as we're using the same context, we're going to come up with exactly the same measurements. There's no duality to it. It just is its truth. What we put upon that truth is our creation, our tapestry of life, our structure, our context. If we're coming from a good place, morality, brotherly love, charity, we're going to say, what a wonderful table. Look how it supports my water and the Holy Bible, and look how it brings people together in understanding of Masonry. If we're coming from a negative place, fear, greed, lust, jealousy, hatred, we're going to say, look at this piece of junk. I mean, can't they get something new? That's got to be an ancient piece of... And they want me to join here with trying to put this... Neither are true. Neither are true. They're both our creation. The only truth is that it is. The word free comes because we're all slaves to our conditioned response pattern. If mommy hated this blue, if she says, oh, that blue, that was the color of the lining in your father's coffin, and he died so young and so horribly, I'll always remember him and that horrible time when I see that color. Somewhere in the back of your head is going to be that imprint. And you are a slave to that without knowing it. And when you see that color, you are automatically guided to the negative perspective. As Masons, we're taught to first become free of that slavery by consciously going to the geometric truth: width, depth, breadth, mass, vibratory level. And from there becoming the master builders of our context, our perspective, by choosing the building blocks of morality, brotherly love, and charity. If we don't, if we happen to still go to the negative, at least understanding that it is our responsibility. We have chosen to do that. Not that Dad did it to us. That makes us truly the master of our life. And that's what understanding geometry does, is it truly gives you the capacity to become the master of who you are in the world, not the slave. I was talking to someone before as we came in, and I was saying how wonderful his smile was. And he said to me, you know what takes my smile away? People. And no, it's not people, it's you. Only when you take responsibility, know that these muscles are created by you. The look you're giving, the perspective of life that you're taking is created by you, that you become the true master mason of your destiny, of your life, of your structure. Geometry is a very practical context. By staying in touch with geometry, let's go back to the joke, by looking at life not as a bad shot, but as the arc of the ball, as the way I moved through the motion. You look at the truth. You look at what's real, what's really happening. We very seldom do that. We always jump immediately to our perspective of, I'm a lousy golfer, or I'm a good golfer. Neither are true. You're a golfer. And learning to focus on that brings you to the perspective of the truth, the geometric truth of being. Now, how do you get to that? It's easy. And it's so hard because it's so easy. Our minds are very powerful. Our minds will get in and start creating our perspectives in an instant. In an instant. The only way to get to geometric truth is to start practicing it. I started studying Tai Chi Chuan. Who knows what Tai Chi Chuan is? Anyone here?
Form of martial arts?
It's a form of martial arts. It's a Chinese, you've all seen it. It's the old Chinese people doing the slow motion moves in the park. And you haven't seen pictures of this? Yeah. Okay, so Tai Chi is focused on geometry. They out now talk about being in the plum, being in the square, having the triangularity of the base of your legs, learning to pivot from a central point. Tai Chi gave me this context of every time I walk, every time I breathe. No, not every time, that's a lot. If I said every time, that's a lot. When I remember, when I'm walking, I walk in this geometric perspective. When I take a step, I feel my relationship of the plumb of my body to the ground, of my shoulders being back and square with my body. It's a way, a technique, just a tool to get you focused on geometry. You have to find something in your own life to do that. I highly recommend Tai Chi because that's what it's all about. But we're not going to all study Tai Chi. But what we need to do is find something that helps us get back to that reality, to that truth. But being that I am talking about Tai Chi, let me focus a little bit on Tai Chi. Could I have a volunteer? Come out here. This is practical, this is practical geometry. What we're looking at is how the body really reacts to gravity. Gravity being the ultimate truth. You pick your feet up, you're on your ass. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's true. Right now, the way he's standing, if I push him, he's going. What I'm going to do is align his body better with gravity. And very simple, very practical, so that it'll be much more grounded. You know, put your feet parallel. Spread them apart about shoulder width. Okay. Now, sit down into your butt a little. No, come up. No, not quite that much. Good. Bring the shoulders up and back. Now, if I push him, he's going into the ground. I'm not going to be able to push him over as much. This is practical geometry. Thank you very much. Did you feel it? No. Geometry is not figurative. We all think of it as being figurative. You know, what is geometry? It's real. It's as real as you get. There's nothing more real than living in geometric truth. Our forefathers are the starters of our fraternity. Said some very wonderful things that guided us to this. One of the lines in the introduction to the Master Mason, charge, not charge, to the Master Mason oath, is know his majesty and goodness by a contemplation of his wondrous works. Well, guess what? His wondrous works are not some figurative, airy-fairy thing. This is his wondrous work. It's real. In fact, in the Middle Ages, God was called the Grand Geometrician because everything that was created, everything that he built, everything that was structured is real. It's true. It's honest. Geometry is known as the basis. And the superstructure that is built upon it is what we create. Now, in Masonry, we are taught to use the building blocks of morality, brotherly love, and charity. And what is so great about Masonry, why it works so well, is that just being around the kind of words that are created in our ritual, we always talk about brotherly love, about fraternity, about morality, about charity. When you're around these words enough, they become the building blocks that you work with in life. But you've got to consciously, more and more, choose to use that context in your life. What happens? Picture. What happens is that the more you choose to build with the right blocks, the more you truly become part of the context of the fraternity. Now, the fraternity, the two pillars in the portion of King Solomon's Temple, are strength and establishment. In geometry, you create strength. If you're out of a line, if you're here, like he was before, I set him up, you're not in strength. You're not in establishment. It's easy to be toppled. When you're standing in alignment, when you're into the ground, you're centered, you're really grounded with the earth, in alignment with gravity, it's very difficult to be toppled. That is mirrored, not only in the geometric physical, the context of an upright man. We're always talking about an upright man. When the brother, the newly raised, newly initiated brother, comes back into the lodge, we're told, he's told that you are now an upright man and a Mason. That's not an emotional context only.